Hey everybody, welcome back to Tattva Tuesday. This is Lindsay Warwick, the conduit here on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. So excited to be revamping my podcast after a little bit of well-needed time off to just take care of myself a little bit. And my first guest is Miss Alissa Wallace here. She's the land steward of the Fern. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here and yay! I'm so excited
Yay.
to talk about all the things. So,
hmm
Tattva Tuesday is a podcast where I interview people about their truth. So, Tattva is a Sanskrit word that means truth. So, we talk about your truth, we talk about your spiritual journey, your conception of God or higher power, source, goddess, whatever your
hmm
conceptualization is, and then we'll just kind of see where spirit guides us. I just want to throw a fun fact out there. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I probably have, but I usually just record this in one raw take, and I don't do any editing. So we kind of just roll with it and flow and be natural. So that
I
being
love
said,
that.
let's start at the beginning. I would love to hear about your spiritual journey.
All right.
All right.
So,
Get into it.
um, yeah, let's get into it. So, I grew up in a very small rural town in New York in the Allegheny Mountains. So, I was surrounded by nature. I was I just had this great little community and graduated with like 34 people in my public school, like teeny tiny town. Yeah, yeah. And it was such a great childhood. But I wasn't exposed to anything, which I think was kind of cool. So I didn't go to church. I didn't do any of that. Nothing. It was just like a raw, clean slate. So when I went off to college and, you know, started my life as a grown up, I kind of got exposed to more things and, just flowed with it. And I took a religion class in college and learned kind of all about it. And that was really cool. That was like my favorite and only class that I enjoyed in college. So that was really cool. I actually ended up moving in with a girl, well, two couples, I guess, and we had a house and we all shared a house, and it was really awesome. And this guy Cameron, he kind of like planted seeds. Like I was a waitress, I was partying, I like had no means of like, you know, awareness or finding anything out or. So he was the seed planter. He was on a whole nother realm of awareness, and he had been meditating for years, and he started really early, like 15 or something crazy on his journey. And he planted all these seeds. We talked about different dimensions in his dreams and all these crazy things. And he really got me like thinking and questioning and so then um those were the seeds planted. Then what really kind of kicked it off is my whole journey of getting off birth control, which is kind of crazy.
I'm here for that journey.
Yeah, yeah. It was quite a journey. So, after I lived with those guys, I had my fair share of toxic relationships. And then I found Seth, and that was magical. And he's supportive in every way and loving and caring and all of the things. So that's when I felt like safe to, work on myself, and I really dedicated all of my energy into myself. And let's see here. So I got off birth control for the first time. I tried twice, just because it was hindering my health. So I had been on this health journey for a long time, holistic healing, and so I really wanted to like get rid of that so I could get deeper, because it was definitely blocking me in many ways. So got off birth control for the first time, and it was a dark, dark, crazy, scary place. And yeah,
Hormones.
hormones. Yep. So, I called that friend of mine that I had lived with, and I had talked to Seth a million times and just crying and sobbing like, I need to move back home. I need to be with my family. I need to be in nature. I need to move. I need to get out of here. This place is not serving me. Like, I just sobbing every day. So I called this guy and told him what I was going through. And he was like, I get it. I get it. You know, you're in the darkness. I've been there. And but he's like, leaving, where you are right now it's not going to take you out of the darkness. And I was like, that's not what I wanted to hear, obviously. I was like, but if I go home, I'll have the support. If I do this, and he's like, yeah, okay. He's like, it may help. He was like, but you're going to be in this. Like, you got to go through this. And I was like, God damn. Like, okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I kind of started reading books. I loved just consuming. I was like in the self-help like section all the time in Barnes and Noble, and there's like so many that I love, but A New Earth was a really like,
That's a good
yeah,
one.
so good. Unmedicated, and then The Untethered Soul. Those were like my three, like, oh my God, this is changing my life. So all that happened. I actually ended up going back on birth control because it was so hard. I couldn't handle it. And then I tried again, got off of it, sobbing, same darkness. So I actually ended up going to the doctors, and I was like, I am so anxious. I'm having such a hard time with life right now. Like, I need help in like a very serious way. So she prescribed me antidepressants, and I I was like, thank God there is something that can help me right now. Da, 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 da. Well, Seth like kind of sits me down, and he was like, I know who you are, and I don't know if you're gonna like these. Like, I don't know if this is gonna help you truly. Like, it will help, it'll be a band-aid, but you gotta like get down. You gotta go through this list. So I was like, all right. So put those, in the cabinet for, you know, if I needed them. But I started really, really diving deep into meditation and journaling. And I got a therapist, and I did the work. Like, I changed my diet. I did it. I did the hard work. So, um, got a therapist. She was an interesting lady. She was a hardcore Christian woman, and basically convinced me that I needed to be Christian. And that is how I would heal. And that is how I would find, God. So I was like, all right, like I'm reaching for anything I can grab. And I told Seth, like, I need a religion. I need something. I can't do this by myself. And I kept telling him that. Like, I can't do this by myself. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I'm so deep in this darkness that I need help. So being in the society we are, I wanted a box. I wanted, like, I am this, and this will help me. So, um, I called up my friend, and I'm like, hey, I know you go to church. I want to go to church. Can you take me to church? She was like, okay, sure. So I go to church with her, and it was, I'm a mess, but I I felt the good, I felt that energy, but I didn't resonate with any of it at all. So I sat her down, and I asked her all these questions. I'm like, if I become a Christian, like, can I still do this? And I asked her all these silly questions that normally people, I don't know if they would do that or not. But I sat her down, and she was like, and then finally at the end of the conversation, she's like, Alissa, you're not a Christian. Like, what are you trying to do? I was like, I don't know. I need something. Like, I'm so lost. I need something. Well, okay. So I was like, that's not my thing. That's not where I find God. And I'm still doing my yoga. I'm still meditating. I'm doing all the things. And then I'm like, okay, I'm a Buddhist. Like, that's what I am now. I'm like choosing all of these things. And um, I got really, and when I get my mind on something, I just like, I go deep into it. So
Yeah.
it was like, all right, I'm a Buddhist. So I went to Thailand and I got Sakyant tattoo, old school, like
Yeah.
hammer, dipping it in the ink and hammering it by a Buddhist monk, and really got into that, reading all the books. And then Seth and I were actually looking for land in North Carolina, and we like stumbled upon this like abandoned looking Buddhist temple in like the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, we need to go. We need to go here. Like I need this. So it was during COVID, and it was like abandoned, and we were just like walking around and peeping in the windows and stuff. And this old little Buddhist monk comes out and he's like, can I help you? Like, do you guys need anything? And we're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're just looking around, we're just wondering. He's
Like,
like,
yeah, have you seen my religion? Have you seen my God? That's what you said to him, right?
yeah. Yeah, he's so he comes in and he's like, do you want me to give you a little like rundown? And we're like, yeah, we would love that. So we sit on this floor of this Buddhist monk's home, it looked like, and he just like lays out the whole foundation of Buddhism. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Seth and I, we have conversations about it days later, da da da. And I'm like, I don't think I'm a Buddhist. I don't know. I don't think I don't think that's who I am. So I'm just, continuing on this crazy journey. And at this point, I'm like better. My mental health is better. I'm not like desperate at this point.
I get it.
Yeah, it was a very dark, scary like time. I was just lost. I was just lost.
Yep.
So I was at a better spot. I read a book called The Wind is My Mother, and it was by a Native American shaman, like medicine man, just like stories of the ways and the teachings and all of that. And I was like, this right here, like, this is magic. Like, I resonate with this on so many levels. So, got more into that, read more about, Native American culture, and then asked my mom, I'm like, I feel it in my bones. Like, I have that in my blood. And I asked my mom, because we weren't very close with her family, her side of the family. So she was like, oh, yeah, like your great grandmother was 100% native. And if you've seen photos of my grandmother or of my mother, she was native as well. And I was just like, I got like on Ancestry, like I just like got into it more, try to, learn more. And then, I just felt it. I didn't need that box. I was just like, that is the magic. That is like that's my church. That's what it is. And the whole time, nature was like trying to pull me in. Like, I need the mountains. I need to go home. And, it was trying to pull me in. And I feel like, that's what I was searching for the whole time, you know? So now that we own this land and, I am with her all the time, it's like 100%. Like, I could sit on my yoga mat and meditate, and that's powerful. I've done breath work, and that's powerful. I've done, all sorts of different things, but the magic for me is sitting silent with Mother Nature and with everything that is, and just being. That's like where the magic, that's where I come closer to God. And that's where I feel it. So,
I
yeah.
love it. I think it's amazing. It's like you basically described like the different paths that you can take to God, right?
Yeah.
And we have parallels, of course. Like I feel like since I've met you, I have felt a connection with you, like a soul sister for sure. I
Mm-hmm.
took a theology class in college as well, and I thought it was like so fascinating. Like I
So
think it's just,
fascinating.
yeah, and I used to waitress in New Jersey, and I would host for them as well. And like when we weren't busy, we were allowed to read books, and I would like have the Bible out, and then I'd also have like, you know, like Buddhist like information out, and I'd be highlighting, and people were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm looking for God. Like
Yeah.
I'm looking for God so I can relate to that. And then I can also relate to where you were talking about, you called your friend who planted seeds. And these are like little like earth angels, right? That are along our path that plant seeds, and like we can recall these moments in the dark times.
Yeah.
But your friend said, sure, you can go home, but you're going to still be in your darkness. And that is something like very recently that I had to face because I was up and ready to leave this area and move and start over. And that was a truth that I had to, you know, face. And I think that it's a brave thing when we stop running and we
Mm-hmm.
start going within. And you also mentioned things like, you know, medication and therapy, and I am all for it. I am
Uh-huh.
all
Uh-huh.
for it. And I think it's amazing and brave as well that you went and asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I relate to the birth control journey. I have not been on birth control in a long time because it is so destructive to my body, like
Mm-hmm.
how it affects me. So, but what an amazing journey that you find this book on Native American shamanism, which I also relate very deeply to that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have any actual Native American DNA in me, but it's been what calls me the most out of religions as well,
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
just the spirit of all. And I really do miss, well, now that we have the Fern, right, this beautiful property that you have mentioned, but we're going to get into in a second. It's such a different climate here because I'm from the Northeast too.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go and sit in the forest by myself in silence, and it was just like nothing else.
Yeah.
But right here where I am, I'm right by the beach, and there's like no deciduous forests. There's
Mm-hmm.
just like marshy land and
Yep.
sand, which is also like, I mean, I love the Mama Ocean.
Mm,
But
me too.
now there's this gorgeous property, y'all, called the Fern in Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
and it is so magical. Like I already talked to you and said, like I want to rent the yurt by myself with Charles, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and just sit there, like just
Yeah.
be there, you know. So I think it's amazing that, you know, you've come back home. You did go home, like you
Mm-hmm.
went home within you, and so that's so
Exactly.
amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the Fern and like how like yeah, whatever you want to talk about as far as the Fern, like how you found it or how it found
Mm-hmm.
you. And it's just
Yeah.
like such a magical time every time I've been there.
Yeah, the Fern is magical. So let's see here. We searched. Seth and I had always stayed at really unique, really cool. That's like that was our mission. Like whenever we went on a trip, we're like, let's find the dopest, like weirdest place that we can stay at. So we did. We've stayed all over, and then I spent a month in Thailand. He lived in Costa Rica for 6 months. Like we kind of have that too, that we try to infuse things. But so after that, we've been going to many places over the years. And then we went to one place on my birthday in New York, in Ithaca, New York. And it,
Ithaca.
yeah, it was magical. Like we were like, what is this place? Like so cool. So that really like sparked our inspiration. Like we were like, we need to make this happen. Like, how do we make this happen? So yeah, that's what sparked everything. Then we made the decision, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get the land, we're gonna make it happen. We want to get out of this everyday hustle, bustle, like grind. We want to get out of that. So it took us like 2 years to find the land. Like, and many, many, many visits to other land.
The other
It
lands.
Yeah, it was just like as soon as I would walk up on land or we would drive up on it, I could feel it. I'm like, this isn't it. This isn't it. You don't want to go walk? Nope, it's not it. I don't like it, don't feel it. And that's all I am. Like I am not a logic, like I am just like feeling. Like if it feels right, I'm about it. So took us 2 years. It's so funny. We didn't have a realtor forever. And then I finally reached out to my friend. I was like, okay, we need help. Like, obviously, and this is 2 years in, like, we need help. So I called her up and we had a meeting, and she was like, there's these spots. It's called Mitchell Swamp. Like, there's a couple of these, pieces of property. And I had it saved on my phone forever, but they were the worst photos. And so then I like didn't go see it ever. So I was like, okay, all right, I'll go check that out before work. So I go, and as soon as I drive onto the land, I was like, this is it. This is the one. So I called Seth. I'm like, Seth, I know you haven't seen this land. I know, like, and his mom also, like, she purchased the land and she was in on it all. So called him. He called his mom and he was like, Liz says it's the one. Like, that's what it is. And we had to act fast because things are just, selling like crazy. But so neither him or his mother saw the land, and they put in an offer. They just like
Oh my God,
trusted.
I just got chills.
Yeah. They didn't even see the land. They know nothing about the land. And I'm just calling them like, this is the land. Like I'm telling you. So we put in the offer, and that night they accepted it. So that was a long journey, 2 years of searching and searching.
And it was like
Um,
on your phone the whole time.
it was on our phone the whole time. Like, how is this possible? So yeah, we got the land, and yeah, our mission is to work with it and help it and nurture it and not destroy it. So when we first got the land, I came out here and did a ceremony, a very long, intense ceremony to the land, with the land. And so I did all of that before we touched anything. So, and anytime we're like removing a tree, there's always a reason. Like there's a reason why we're doing this, that. So we always like do a blessing before anything happens, and like, we love you. This is for the greater good, da, da, da. So there's a lot of like love, a lot of, you know, intention behind everything we do. So, and it shows. I think it shows. So, yeah.
I think it definitely shows, and you can definitely feel that energy of respect there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a potent feeling when you're there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my first experience there in October of last year. Our dear friends got married, and it was a really fun and magical experience. And then recently, you guys had Allison do the Ostara, the witch's tea, and it was like amazing. Like just the table that you guys created. I felt like I was in this Alice in Wonderland like I did wear a hat because I felt like I needed a hat, like a Mad Hatter hat, but I wore a cute hat, of course, in place.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
it was such an amazing time. And I did my own little healing ritual there that you guys, I feel like I'm going to cry. I don't want to cry. I'm not going to cry. But you and Seth, I asked permission to do a little healing ritual there, and y'all allowed me to do that. And so I'm so grateful. And it's definitely an amazing experience. So if you are listening or watching this, definitely check out the Fern Getaway on Instagram and Facebook, and then you'll see these gorgeous photos. And also, you'll have an opportunity. Do you have two tents now? How many
Yeah,
tents do you guys have? Okay, you
just put
want
up
to
our
talk about it?
second tent.
Let's talk about it.
Super exciting. Yep. Second one went up. So we'll have two glamping tents to rent out on Airbnb, Hip Camp, and hopefully other places eventually soon. But yeah.
There's also an outdoor shower, which if you've never
Mhm.
had an outdoor shower, you're not living life. Just
No, no, it's like,
funny, like you mentioned, I guess Seth lived in Costa Rica. I lived in Costa Rica for a little while too, and that's where I had my first outdoor shower experience. And it was,
really,
yes,
that's funny.
life changing.
Yeah, life changing. Yeah, the Fern, it's so funny. People ask me, just people messaging me and asking me what the Fern is. And like, what do you do at the Fern? I'm like, no, you just sit, like, just like be.
You
That's what you
literally
need to do
sit.
at the Fern. Yeah, like you don't need to be doing anything. Like that's where the magic happens. Like and I try to invite like everybody who stays to just do that because we don't do that in our lives. It's like we have to have something to do, like whether it's a hike, even a walk, a this, a that, like we got to be doing something. And the magic of the Fern is when you sit and you be, it's so magical. And like the amount of medicine on this land that is just here and abundant, and it's wild. It's like we have a whole new eyes. Like everywhere we look, we're like, oh my gosh, there's medicine, there's blueberries, there's wild this, there's wild that. Like it's so incredible. And the birds out here and the owls and just all the wildlife and the trees, like that's the magic. That's what you do at the Fern, you disconnect and
Mhm.
you reconnect with yourself and nature. So that's the goal. Like we're not here to like entertain, which we love doing, we're going to be doing that. But when you book a stay here, we're not here to entertain you or to have anything to entertain you. It's to just be. And also, I read, I am reading, I'm like taking my time so I can like soak up all the magic of this book. But it's called Mirrors of the Earth. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of that, but I haven't
Okay.
read it. I have like piles of books everywhere in here, and I have like a whole my whole entertainment center is like all books underneath.
Love
My
book.
friend, you know Jess Henry, right?
Yeah.
She like describes my place as super clean and neat, but piles of books everywhere. So that's literally my life. Yeah, tell me about this Mirrors of the Earth book. That
Okay.
sounds deep.
So I'm just getting like, more and more. I thought I was connected with nature before, like when I would go on my little, solo camping trips and hikes and go outside all the time. I thought I was connected, but I wasn't. But like I'm connected now. So, Mirrors of the Earth, how she starts the book and how the book became, was before there were mirrors, like before those were a thing, the only way we could see our reflection was in the earth.
Oh my
Like,
God. I just got chills again.
right?
That's
Right?
so true.
Yeah. So before mirrors became a thing, you would see your reflection in like little
Water.
pieces of mica or in water or in a stream or a puddle or when a leaf collected water, like in the earth. So I thought that was like real. I was like, oh my God, this is This book is so good. It's so good. And it's exactly what I need right now in my life. So books are magical. I love books.
I love books too.
Yeah. So yeah, the fern is a magical healing place.
It really is. And I can't wait to stay there by myself and just
Yeah.
detach.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good for the soul. And you're right. We're in this society culture where we are, I think it's crumbling. I think that
I
paradigm is
think so
crumbling.
too, and I love it.
Yeah, I joke kind of like I got kicked out of the matrix in November. Like I was working a professional job remotely, and yeah, got kicked out. So I think a lot of us humans are navigating that paradigm collapsing and moving into a new way of being. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the Fern is a beautiful invitation if you're like anywhere to come and stay and just detach and then detach to connect
Yep.
to Earth and Mama Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
Things.
All the good
So
stuff.
yeah, I only see like amazing things for the Fern, and for you guys, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you were talking about like how we met. I think we met at Ethan's house over food.
No, we
Did we meet at
met
yoga?
at a retreat, like a love retreat with Leah, right? Like you did one after
Oh,
getting
yes.
common.
Leah and I did the Mary Magdalene
Yes,
experience.
yes, yes.
Yes. So we met
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
Cool.
but then we like really connected over food at Ethan's.
Literally, like in the food room for like, I don't know, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're here. And it's just been amazing to connect with you. I feel like, this area has been very special to me as far as like soul tribe and spiritual community. Like it's just been so amazing. There's so
Yeah,
much.
it's pretty wild when you think about it. Like even 5 years ago, I didn't know any of this existed or any of these amazing people, So I'm just like so grateful and kind of in awe that this is where we live, this amazing community exists here. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. How long have you actually been in Myrtle Beach
I've been here
or this
for
area? Yeah, because you said you're
like,
from New York.
yeah, I moved here to go to college and I never went back. So like 10, 11 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm,
And I always like something always kept me here, but I
yeah.
didn't feel like I belonged here. I'm like, I need nature. Like,
Yeah,
but
where's the forest, right?
yeah, where's the forest? And
I,
I
I
found the forest.
what I'm curious too, what did you go to college for?
Oh, so many things. I hated college. Psychology. Um, that was one thing. And then I think I was gonna do civil engineering. That's
Oh,
silly. Yeah, I left really quickly. So yeah, I hated college and I was always ashamed. Like I was a waitress and everybody would be like, "Oh, what did you go to college for? What did you graduate? What's your job now?" And there would be so many times where I would feel so ashamed that I would just like make things up. Like I would just be like, "Yeah, I got my psychology degree. Like, yeah, that's what I did." Like I wouldn't even tell them my real life. And now I'm like,
your real
yeah,
life.
I went to college for like a year and that did not resonate. And now I'm doing all these amazing things.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
feel like what all that stuff is not who we are as our essence. Like I just was curious because I feel I went to college too and I went for mass communication, which has benefited me as far as doing the podcast and marketing myself and all this, but I'm not in a mass comm role. Like I'm
Mhm.
literally doing this and I am waitressing right now to support
Yeah.
myself. And it's like, okay. But you know what? I've already, in the short time that I've gotten back to waiting tables, it's like I've already met these like amazing people.
Oh
So you
yeah.
just never know. You
Mm-mm.
know, you just never know where life is going to take you. And those things don't make you who you are,
No,
those titles.
no.
You know what I mean? As long as you're doing what brings you joy, which like I see you right there. Are you in your van right now? Your camper?
My camper.
Yeah, remember we bonded over that too. Remember we talked about van life and you were like,
Yeah.
it's fucking hard. It is hard, okay?
It's
It's
the
not
worst
as
thing ever.
glamorous as the Instagram post. And we just laughed about it, remember?
Yeah. Yeah. I try. I feel like I'm like anti-van, not anti, but I'm just like, you guys really think about it. Like, are you
Like,
sure?
think it through. That's yeah, because I always thought I wanted to do that, but I don't know right now. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
going with the flow. But like I see you like literally in the sunshine right now, like living your passion out on the Fern.
Mm-hmm.
And podcasting brings me such joy too. So
Mm-hmm.
like we're both living in our dharma, right? In
Yeah.
our soul's purpose. So what are some upcoming things that are happening at the Fern? Let's talk about that. And then if you see
Ooh.
any like what are your like future like big goals for it?
Okay, so some upcoming events are Seth has lots of things in the works. There is going to be a mushroom workshop.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's going to be a thing. I don't know dates of anything, but that's going to happen. We're going to do an astrology class. We're going to
oh
have like
wow.
a school out here, if you will. So that's in the works. I won't like release any dates for Seth, but that's going to be really magical. We really want to do just a lot of dinners, like intimate dinners, and bring community together. And we really want to start doing like sessions at the Fern with musicians. And we have something in the works for that. That's coming up soon, I think. Um, and then just like building really cool places and really unique things. Like Seth is like, people think this place is cool, like right now. He's like, okay, it's a little cool. He's like, but the things we have, like that we are gonna do here is gonna be like people aren't gonna believe what's where they are. Like he
Yeah.
has so many big ideas. Like we want to do like where you have foraging dinners. That's a big thing we want to do. You forage for all of your ingredients and make a dinner. Yeah, we really want to do that. And we want a food forest, which Seth is currently building some crazy things out in my yard, and we look like crazy people, but um he's building a food forest out there so we can like harvest, like literally farm to table, like in the same land, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So that's a big thing that we want to do, like farm to table dinners, intimate, um and music. We love music, so we want to incorporate like dinner and a show, you know,
I love
thing.
it. And
Yeah.
then this Saturday is the Ecstatic Earth Festival,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's
Yeah.
just like an all day, April 8th.
Yeah, all day little shindig of dancing and connecting and gifting to the earth mandalas, lots of dancing, drum circles, music. I think that potluck dinner. Mm-hmm. That should
Yeah,
be a good time.
that would be a really good time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for all of the things.
Yep.
And is there anything else that you want to share about yourself or your journey or Fern?
Um, just
Also
um,
make beautiful jewelry.
I do make jewelry. Yeah.
I'm looking at your earrings and I'm like, oh, she also makes jewelry.
Yeah, that's been a journey. Yeah, that's been a journey. That started during COVID, but yeah, I make jewelry, wooden laser cut
I'm
jewelry.
like, I
But
should have worn mine. I have like these moon phase wooden
yeah,
gorgeous
the moon
earrings
phases.
you gifted me.
Yeah.
They are lovely.
Thank you. Yes, I make jewelry. Just like I always thought that I kind of feel like I'm more of like a masculine energy, but I've been trying to balance, those two energies, and just getting off birth control and getting in tune with your body and your cycle, just even like that really brought me closer to source and to God. So I highly, you know, women just really need to get in tune with their bodies, because we've just been programmed to be ashamed of them and to not talk about our cycles and our, none of our bodily, things. So that is also that's a very profound thing to do as a woman.
Yeah, definitely. I've had like not crazy ideas, but like I'm sure if you've read about Native Americans, they believe that the cycle is a purification. They literally would sit in like bleeding tents, and like
Mm-hmm.
I have literally had that desire to like, I don't know, sit and bleed into the earth. Like I know that probably
Mm-hmm.
sounds weird to normal people, but to me that sounds like giving back to the earth.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I always like feel that in our society, like women are forced to like work during their cycle, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot going on with us. Like we're literally like purifying our bodies, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe in resting them as well. Um, as we're talking, I'm having so many like ideas of like potential collaborations with you, and I'm like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if we should talk about it live on the podcast, or after I stop recording, and then we'll start talking about collaborating. But I'm so excited for you guys, and I'm just so grateful that you agreed to do this.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your God story and
Yes, of
your
course.
your journey with self healing, because that's really, I think, where we all find God is like
Mhm.
through these dark times, like because you said God bless you. You listened to like how many of my podcasts before you came on here? Like five
Like
or
5 or
five.
something. Yeah.
And what is the thread there is like, there's some suffering, and then there's some
Yep.
surrender, and then you find God.
Mhm.
And there's some
Yeah.
suffering, and there's some surrender, and then you find God. And it's like so beautiful. And
Yep.
that's, I'm just thank you for supporting my dharma too. Like,
Yes, of
you know
course.
what I mean? And I can't wait to see you. I'm gonna try to come on Saturday, and everyone else should as well. So
Yes. Yes, yes. Come Saturday, it'll be amazing.
yeah, so if people want to connect with you or the Fern, what is your contact information?
The Fern Getaway on Facebook, on Instagram. And yeah, you can I'm the manager of all of those things, so you can connect with me on all of those.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's listening or viewing. Whoops, I just hit my table. You see that? Anyone who's listening or viewing this today, I hope that you check out the Fern and have a beautiful rest of your week. Thank you.
Thank you.